Hey everyone, it's the Ioniq guy. So the weather's finally starting to get nicer here in the United States and I guess the entire northern hemisphere. And that means better range in our EVs, and better range means better road tripping. But the Ioniq 5 currently does not have route planning as a feature. The Ioniq 6 that's coming out right now does have route planning built in. So we're hoping to get it as a software update in the near future, but it does actually already exist in our navigation systems. You just have to activate it. So today I'm going to show you a little trick to activate route planning to plan your charging stops on a long drive. So if you want to find out more, stay tuned. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I am not the first person to show how to use this. EV Odyssey was the first person I saw. He's a UK-based EV6 owner who makes videos about the Kia EV6. His process is different from here in the United States. Technically, Jeff, who is also an EV6 YouTuber here in the US, he put out a video recently where he shows how to activate it on the US EV6, and that is the exact process you need to use for the Ioniq 5. We have different audiences since I'm more Ioniq 5 focused, so I wanted to put a video out to share with all the Ioniq 5 owners what you could possibly do in terms of route planning as it stands today. You have to go into the car's infotainment engineering mode, which is something that the general public doesn't really have access to and probably shouldn't really have access to. Somebody figured out how to do it, so you can get into it. Now, I'm just going to put that out there. I am not going to accept any responsibility for what you do in engineering mode other than this process that I'm going to show you in today's video. So don't go messing around with other things in there. You could brick your car. You could make it inoperable. Who really knows? I don't think anybody really wants to take that risk, though. So just do as I show you, and you'll be okay. Now, probably the biggest issue with this process is that once you activate route planning, it doesn't stay after you turn the car on and off multiple times and live your life. Once you activate it, you kind of have to go in and start using it, or else it will disappear from the navigation screen, and then you'll have to go back into engineering mode, reactivate it. So it's not going to permanently add it to your navigation system, but it will be there just long enough for you to get it going and actually utilize it. So let's dive in and get this thing going. So the first thing you need to do is switch from Apple CarPlay or Bluetooth streaming to FM radio. So you're going to go to Media, FM, and you're going to set the volume to level 2. That's very important. Don't forget that step. Then you're going to go home. You're going to go to Setup. Then you're going to go to General. And now, right here is where all the magic happens. There's this big update button in the bottom portion of the screen. On the left-hand side, in that blank spot between keyboard and update, you're going to tap 6 times. And then on the right side of the update button, you're going to tap once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now it's going to ask for a password, and that password is 26031236, and then press OK. Only authorized personnel are allowed to use engineering mode. The manufacturer is not responsible for any damage caused by changes not made through official service channels. So be warned, do not go in here and touch things that you shouldn't be touching other than what I'm about to show you. And I question whether I should even be showing you how to do this, but it is kind of a cool thing to check out. So from this screen, you're now going to scroll down to module info, and you're going to hit next twice. 1, 2. Now you're going to click on Navi here, launch Navi engineering mode, and from here, click on route, scroll down, and click the checkbox that says EV recommend POI activation. Click on that, and then you can go back to your home screen. You can turn your volume down if you don't want it anymore. And now comes the fun part. Let's go into the map, and we can search for previous locations. I'm going to use Richmond, Virginia. I have a friend that lives down there, and I did a 1,000-mile round trip down there last summer. So I kind of want to see how it's going to route me based on a trip that I've already done and that I know. So last summer on my way down, I was able to stop twice to charge, once in Delaware and the second time just outside of Richmond. And then I got to my destination. So first you're going to get a message that says, cannot reach destination with current charge. Would you like to include a charging station to the route? Time of arrival may change depending on charge time. Press yes. So now it's going to add some charging stops. I'm currently sitting at 80% state of charge, showing a range of 185 miles. So this will take a second. Okay, so there we have a couple of route options. You have a 469 mile and a 486 mile. The 486 mile is, wow, an hour and a half faster than the cost-effective route. But you can see here, starting at the bottom, this would be your first stop, second stop, third stop, and then you arrive at your destination. So it's planning the route. You can see here it says DC plus, which means high power chargers, which is what you want with the Ioniq 5 because we can charge so fast. So when you go ahead and click on one of these, it will tell you the station in the top left here. You can see it's an EV Go. Not sure why it's telling me to go to an EV Go. I know for a fact there are a lot of Electrify America stations in this area, and it is also telling me to charge after only 107 miles of driving. Now, I currently have 185 miles, so I would prefer to push it into New York State and into New Jersey a little bit more because I know I can go further. I know I should be able to get almost to Delaware before I need to charge again. So there's no settings from this screen where you can actually say, hey, I want to show up with only 5% state of charge or 10% state of charge. Under route options, it's just fastest, cost effective, or prefer the freeway. So it's pretty much follow this as it is or nothing else. There's nothing else you can change here. But if you go to the second charging stop, up in the top left there, you can see it's an Electrify America at a Wawa. This is actually the one I stopped at in Newcastle, Delaware last year on my road trip. So yeah, I know for a fact this is a newer station. It has all of the new EA chargers. And then the last stop is another EV Go in Springfield, Virginia. So it's asking you to go to stations that you wouldn't prefer to go to. I know that I could use plenty of Electrify America stations on this drive. So I think this just goes to show this definitely should stay behind the engineering lockout because it's not ready for prime time. You don't have any options here. It's just telling you go here, go here, go here, and it doesn't matter what your state of charge is. And you should have some ability to change that. Once I get into the Ioniq 6, I'll be able to show you guys more of how that system operates, but this is how to use this in kind of a limited capacity. So if you don't mind charging at EV Go, then try this out if you're going on a road trip in the near future and see how it works for you. One thing we don't know for sure is whether this is actually going to activate your battery conditioning if it's colder than 70 degrees out. But I have done some other testing in here, and I've seen in a few instances, it'll tell me to stop at a AC charging station, which I am not stopping at an AC charging station unless I'm sleeping there that night. So unless this is planning how long I'm driving for and when I'm stopping, it has no business recommending an AC charger unless you tell it to. So let's try another one, Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is a road trip I am going to probably be doing within the next year because my girlfriend is going to be moving to Minneapolis for her residency. So going to be doing a lot of road tripping out to Minnesota. So let's see what this plans for a route. Now, keep in mind, it's only going to plan 4 charging stops out as it currently stands. I don't know how the Ioniq 6 does it, but it's only going to be able to provide 4 charging stops. So here we go. Here's what I experienced with the AC charger. You can see the first stop is an EA station in Newburgh, New York. I've used that station before. Next is a EA station in Scranton, Pennsylvania at a Sheetz gas station. And for some reason, the next 2 stations are a AC charging station, a charge point in Pittstown, Pennsylvania. And the last one is another charge point in Danville, Pennsylvania. Look at these distances between charging stops. 12 miles, 65 miles. It just doesn't make any logical sense, and please don't follow this if this is what it tells you to do. That previous trip that it planned made a little bit more sense, but for my driving habits and how far I want to push the car, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you're really nervous about road tripping, err on the side of caution, charge every 150 miles if that's really what you want to do. So now that it has a route planned, you can go to Add Waypoint. And here's where it will show you some of its projected numbers in terms of charging. So here it says I'll arrive at the Newburgh station with 24% state of charge, and I will charge for 12 minutes. That's all the information it gives. It doesn't say what to charge to, but as an EV owner, you should know that charging to 80% makes the most sense, because after 80%, your charging speeds do start to drop off a cliff. But following that stop, stopping at the Sheets, arrive with 38% state of charge, charge for 11 minutes. And then that first AC charging stop, arrive with 75% state of charge, and then charge for 16 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. Good thinking. So going back to this screen, you can see that that first charging stop is only 12 miles after you just DC fast charge. So it really makes no sense whatsoever. But let's say you want to do this. Go ahead and start guidance.
Please proceed to the highlighted route. Then the route guidance will start.
So there you go. It's starting navigation. Whether it starts preconditioning is another story, but it's working. So there you have it, folks. That's about all it can do in this iteration. Hopefully we'll see this roll out for the Ioniq 5 very soon. Hopefully EV6 isn't that far behind either, because the cars are very similar. If it's already on the Ioniq 6, I can't imagine it being that far behind for Ioniq 5. So yeah, it's a really welcome feature. I know I really wish we had this when we did our road trip last year. This will definitely take some of the complexity out of EV road tripping, but we'll see what it looks like when it's fully baked and released to us. Speaking of EV6, I did have the Kia EV6 GT a few weeks ago, and last week I released my first impressions video of that car. So if you haven't already seen it, check it out right there. And if you guys liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.